It's a freezing cold Sunday morning at the People's Kitchen. Armed with bacon, hot dogs and flasks of hot tea and coffee, the People's Kitchen head out to Eldon Square and Elswick to make sure Newcastle's homeless and most vulnerable receive a filling breakfast.
The Sunday morning run is to actually go out to the people on the streets. The reason we do this is quite a long gap from normal provisions on a Friday, so they go right through Saturday night. And at this time of the year, as you witnessed this morning, there's some very, very cool people out there.
Only the tomato salad?
Yes, please.
We had bacon early this morning and we also had hot dogs. Bacon goes immediately because it is everyone's favourites, and then hot dogs are kind of like, oh, okay, we'll have the hot dogs. But basically we just work on what donations we get and what we can cook before we leave.
The bulk of our food comes in during the Harvest Festival. So we have drivers go out to over 300 churches and schools and collect from small carrier bags full to boxfuls. Greggs are a mainstay of our supply of bread. We have drivers go up there on Saturdays. So even the days we're not open, we have people in here going places. And the key thing is everybody's a volunteer. So we have over 100 people, we have no paid staff, and everybody does it in their own time.
Even through my layers of clothing, I have to admit a hot cup of tea was much appreciated. So imagine feeling sub-zero temperatures with only the clothes on your back and no roof over your head.
There was two characters this morning. One guy, we actually tried to dress him this morning, give him a sleeping bag, but he'd said he was literally so cold the night before, he'd actually wet himself and he was apologising for it, but he was shivering so much he lost control of his body. So we warmed him up, we gave him some tea, some cereal, some clothes and a new sleeping bag. Another more sad case was a young guy who came this morning and he'd actually been set fire to. Somebody at the Haymarket had thought it was a funny idea to set fire to his sleeping bag.
Oi, what's happening? Woo!
Like we have a man called Graham who's blind and who is just the loveliest, most optimistic person you'll ever meet, and they're just so optimistic and polite. And the other day someone looked at my work boots, someone who gets a lot of stuff from lanes, like clothes of himself, and he offered to go try and find me new work boots even though I've got a student loan. So just people who they're constantly thinking of others, and you're just constantly impressed by people. It kind of makes you more hopeful about the world and also saddened by it, which is quite a paradox, but yeah.
Do I want to get up at 5 o'clock on a Sunday morning? Normally no. But once you've done the shift, you've cleaned down and you head home, you have some little stories when you get home, positives, negatives, and if everything's gone well, you just have a little warm feeling and think, well, that's another one done. We did what we set out to do and there was no problems. That's it basically. But I do reflect, because I'm going to go home and I'm going to have a nice shower and I'm going to sit with a cup of tea and probably have a meal. They're not.